Hey guys, how's it going? So today, two CRONOS or CRONI, the CRONOS L6005 and the L6105. Are these the best Submariner clones? Is it a question of to date or not to date, or to clone or not to clone? Let's unbox and have a look. Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel for those regulars, and welcome all noobs as well. Great to have you along. I hope all is good in your part of the world. As I say, so two CRONI here. I bought these from two different sellers on AliExpress. I think one was called Official and one was called Second Official. I don't know. I also wanted to see if there was any difference between the two watches or the packaging. I mean, logos and everything look pretty similar. Yeah, one notice, of course, is that the bands have been attached differently. Do these guys clone each other? I don't know. As you can see, I've resisted the temptation to open the watches before the review. So yes, the meds are working. I did have the first thing I did was just open the package to see what was inside, just to make sure everything was there. And I have to say, I'm impressed with the presentation. The packaging looks decent. They've given you some solid looking tools here, bracelet adjustment pieces and things like that. All looks good. Let's just check what the warranty card says. So that one says LG Watch Official. Okay, and let's just compare it with this one. What does that one say? That says LG Watch Official. 24th, yeah, the 14th and the 15th, so that's when I bought them. Yeah, so, I don't know. International guarantee. Yeah. I don't understand at all the difference between the different AliExpress stores and who runs what and what's what, and yeah. Anyway, let me just shut up and get these out of the box. All right, so if you're interested, I did review the OG, the Rolly, and I'll put a link up there. It was a few years back, I think, and yes, I mean, as you'd expect, an absolute beast of a watch, but a beast of a watch at an insanely priced beast of a watch, and that not many of us are going to be able to afford. So this one here, the NH35, is the 6105. So I also then toyed with the idea of getting the steel dive version of these as well, but I was put off by so much feedback talking about the feedback around everybody was saying that the crown is garbage, it's like super loose and it rattles around and everything like that, and then many comments saying that the crowns on the steel dives were more grainy than your average granola. So yeah, I just decided to go with these two CRONOS, so the date and the no date, just to compare. There's a whole bunch of sellotape on there, so I'm just going, also cellophane around there, so I'm just going to pause and take them off. Yeah, just before I do that, I just noticed it's difficult sometimes looking through the camera when you're doing these reviews. I need to get a different setup. Nice touch to include that clasp protector on there. Not seen those before on AliExpress. That's a new one. Anyway, yeah, let me just de-plastic or denude. All right, so there's our two watches with most of the plastic taken off. Quite handsome looking pair. I think, yeah, kicking off with some key specs then. Let's start off with the 6005, the date version. So these are 40 mils across apparently, but I think you're going to need add a little extra for the crown here. And then they are a very manageable 47.8 mils north to south, 13 mils deep. You get quite a little bit of a pot hanging out at the bottom there. I wonder if it's the same on the, yeah, it's the same on this one. Strange, because I didn't realise the movements were that deep. The luggage then is 20 mils here, quite proud lugs either side there. And then the specs on the no date are exactly the same. However, the weight as quoted is slightly different, with the Cyclops version being quoted at 7 grams more, and I'm guessing that's potentially something to do 7 grams of movement or 7 grams of Cyclops up at the top. So again, I've measured them, and it is that 165 over 158 grams. Just really, really odd. You can get that much difference. I can't see that much difference in the bracelets either, just to see, you know, what might impact that. But anyway, the first thing to note is that, you know, as 40 millers, these do have a lot of weight to them as a consequence. And I think, yeah, let me just throw one on wrist to show you what it looks like. So my wrist is 7¼ inch. They are not insubstantial pieces. I think a lot of people, when they would naturally opt for a 40 miller because, you know, they believe a 42 is small. These ones, I think, almost, you know, I think because of the huge lugs that drop down from the case body either side there, I think it makes it much squatter on wrist. Personally, I'm super happy with that. I like it. I want my watches. Now, this is one thing I've already found that I don't like. I like my watches to have some wrist presence, both size and weight. It's a fetish of mine. Yeah, just when I was taking some of the plastics off these things here, that edge there is really, really, really sharp. And I really prefer press buttons on these, because, yeah, you get your thumb in there, and I inevitably always get the top of my thumbnail caught in the top there, and yeah, it's just annoying, really. I mean, that clasp, yeah, medium. Anyway, I will come on to that in a minute. The other key difference between the date and the no date versions of these is that if you opt for one with a coloured dial on the no date, the coloured dials then have sunray dials to them. Obviously, this one being matte black, you don't have that. The watery goodness on these is quoted at 200 meters. Personally, I've no idea how they test this, or whether they just throw it on the dial because it looks good. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that it's a standard that's set. You know, in the watch manufacturing industry, you know, and there's tests to prove it. I don't know how AliExpress watch companies, you know, prove for theirs. As you've seen coming out of the box, the date version comes with the PT5000 movement, or you can also then choose the the Sellita SW200 when choosing your colorway. I opted for the PT5000 again, and the simple reason for that is because there's no indication to me which version of the SW200 you're getting, or is it even a clone of the SW200, or what is it? There isn't any explanation of that. I also have another watch running the PT5000, and it's very, very tight, very, very good. So that's another reason why I went for that one over the other. The no date then is the NH35, but that's right, missed one. Yeah, it's a true 35, because there obviously is that ghost date position, and that I find a little bit annoying. Why couldn't they have used the no date version? That's the 38, right? It's just a simple, just a simple change up. I'm guessing they've got a massive stock of 35s and they just want to use them, but it's like, yeah, come on. And the other difference that I'm noticing between these two is that out of the box, the no date is really squeaky. It's making a lot of noise. I don't know if it's been as well, hasn't been as well oiled. This one is much smoother for some reason. Let's just have a look at the bracelet on that one. Yeah, I mean, finishing wise in that sense, I'm really not seeing any difference at all between them. I mean, they're both a little bit jangly. Let me just do that one up. But this one, the no date, squeaks an awful lot more. Yeah, I think it's also just a fraction looser. I wonder why that is. Let's do another test though. So here is my super mega time grapher. Yes, it's not quite the Weishi, but it's also drastically cheaper. Let me just get it set up with a phone. 1 second. All right, so we've got a couple of other watches here that I'm going to run as benchmarkers. So I've got my whoop-ass racing Rolex clone here. Now that's also running a PT5000, so it should be able to give us a good, you know, a good yardstick. So let's throw that one on first and see how we get on. Now again, with this little Dubry, I find that the different positions that I have it in, I get very different readings off it. It's not the tightest, as I say, but it works for the purposes of just, you know, having a quick look to see what's going on. I find, as I say, it generally works, excuse me, slightly better that way around. I seem to get a better read off it. It's very cheap, so yeah, don't expect anyway, let's go. So yeah, as you can see, I'm keeping my hands off the table. That's pretty clean. And yeah, 28,000 beats there. It's I think that's a pretty solid movement result. You know, the beat error, again, I mean, that's pretty damn tight. And I'm going to show you what I mean, because this will make you chuckle. So that watch, there's only 11 of these in the world, and I think it cost around $100. This watch is the Seiko Willard. Cost you in excess of £1,000, depending on where you buy it. And let's check watch the comparison. You'll enjoy this, guys. So you can see, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of snow. You can see the seconds per day, a little bit more snow, beat errors, a little bit more snow. I mean, yeah, if you consider the watch that cost $100 or a watch that sometimes you might have to pay $1,000 for, I mean, Seiko, guys, seriously, get it together. So let's throw one of these on. Let's continue with Seiko. In that case, we're going to continue with the no date. So again, which is the NH35. We'll keep it in the same position. Oops, stop. And let's start again. So I've given it a little bit of a wind. And my gosh, look. So here's a movement that costs, what, $40, $50 maximum, depending if you buy them in bulk. Yeah, much tighter. Still got quite a lot of seconds drop as well. No comment. Right, let's move on. And let's throw the... that was smart, Duncan. There we go. Let's throw the other PT5000 on, and let's see what happens with this one. So just let it sit. And let's go. As I say, so we've got a good benchmark there with the other one. Then you see straight away, it says tight. Slight seconds per day drop there. Give it a couple of minutes to run, a couple of seconds to run a little bit further. I mean, ideally, what I'd like to do is to run it in different positions, you know, to then show you, you know. But I think you get the idea pretty quickly of the difference that's going on with these things. As I say, not the super science that perhaps, or the super engineering that you'd get with a Weishi, but I think, you know, I think what was this thing, about £9, you get a bit of an indication as to what's going on with your watch. And Seiko, yeah, great, thanks guys. I love the watch, but man, you're really doing me a disservice with that movement. So coming back to these two, so. Personal preference. I mean, specifically, I thought when I ordered these two that I would gravitate much more towards the no date, simply because I'm not a fan of the Cyclops versions. I don't like Cyclopses on watches. I just find that they distort the dial way too much. but possibly for some reason it hides quite well on here. But then if you, so I just bash the camera, if you look at it here, and I'll put up a little bit of a close-up shot, it's off center. It looks like it's sitting much more to the right than it needs to. The dial and everything else, I mean, again, for some strange reason, the no date, the hour markers seem to be slightly more golden than they do on the other version. The bezels look fairly similar, markings and loom, etc. I'm going to show you some loom shots here because there's two options with these. You can buy those with just a single pip at the top, but I went for the full loomed versions because, yeah, I just think what's the point of a silly single dot at the top? Yeah, not overly bad for the price. I think the Seiko, you know, it wins back a couple of credit points there because, you know, it is better, but then it costs a lot more money. These both come with 120 click bezels, so let's just have a quick sound off of this one. So again, so the 6005, the date, nice and even, doesn't catch anywhere. I mean, yeah, you don't have massive amounts of purchase room on the top, but pushing down, yeah, you're not. It's not difficult to operate. Might be a little bit too slippery when wet, and I believe that they're both ceramic, and there's no play in that thing at all. It's not going anywhere. This then, the 61, sounds completely different. Sounds much lighter. But again, movement and everything like that is good, easy, smooth, no lumps, no chunks, no catches or anything like that. Alignment as well. And again, that thing is going absolutely nowhere, so very impressed there. Crowns on these, again, so here, so little signatures on both of them of their little logo. They used to have the logo on the dial, I think, but it's no longer there. So again, yeah, that's all good. As I say, there's our date in there as well. Yeah, and that screws in there pretty tight. Doesn't feel, yeah, feels okay. And then on the PT5000, it's way smoother. Wow, so much smoother and just a very little light pop. Wow, it's like butter in comparison. The other one's like walking through mud. This is like butter in comparison. Wow, what a difference. Wow, really surprised. And for some, it's just way smoother. That's completely bizarre. Finishing wise, what can I tell you? And by finishing, I mean sharp edges, even brushing, polishing on the steel, the finishing and things like that. So I noticed earlier, for example, on the date version, it seems automatically clearer up here, automatically, it just noticed quicker. This one seems to have some marks on it. I'm going to, while I'm talking here, I'm going to do some more close-up inspection, and I'll throw up some close-ups of things that I can see that I think as well, you know, sort of look a little bit odd. Or different, as it shouldn't be. As I say, you know, that is really sharp on that clasp. You know, I'm not delicate fingered, but at the same time, I just think it could have been so much better. And oddly, again on the date, yeah, these made by the same company. Yeah. Other thing to notice on these is that they come with a little ratcheting. Sorry, it says, let me just put that into a position where you can see it. So yeah, you've got a little extension here. I mean, it's a little stiff. Again, it doesn't feel like it's been oiled in any way, shape or form. Wow, I mean, it's super. God almighty. I'm kind of a fan of ratcheting because it's so much better to have it on a hot day than it isn't to have it on a hot day. But I mean, if I'm going to keep this, I'm going to need to change the clasp on this because that's bloody awful, frankly. Let me see if it's any better on this one. I mean, you can just hear this thing squeaking away. And then sod's law, it's going to be better on this one. No, it's not. I think they've messed up the design here. I mean, it works, but it's rougher than a rough thing. It's not because of that plastic on there, is it? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. No, doesn't make any difference at all. I'm having to force that to push it. Real shame, because as I say, the concept of that ratcheting clasp is something that appealed to me and something that I was keen to experiment and use on a daily basis. The other thing to notice about perhaps a disadvantage for some people of having the ratcheting clasp is that it's much bigger, that makes the clasp much bigger and longer. So let me just show you on wrist what that looks like. So again, that may be a concern for some people, because it does give you quite a lot of metal under your wrist, and again, not everybody might like that. Some people prefer, you know, a much more diminutive clasp on here, and I can get that, because, you know, that stands up quite proud. It might be catching on things, but again, that's the downside of having that ratcheting aspect. Again, it's, you know, if you paid a lot more money for these things, you might get a better clasp that still has the ratcheting but is a little bit smaller. So talking of finishing and quality control and everything like this, I read somewhere that CRONOS comes out of the same factory as San Martin, and from the very appropriately named Lug U factory. I can't verify that, so if you please do know to confirm one way or another, or correct me, let us know down below, because it kind of leads me into a little bit of a rant, and I may offend a few diehard fans here, and, you know, that's not my intention, it's just my thoughts. I think that I'm more inclined to call these things clones than I am homages, because frankly, if those dials said Rolex on them, you'd call these things fakes, right? I used to call these things clone homages, but I'm just thinking, you know, as the years go by, we should be perhaps just a little bit more honest with ourselves, and just admit what we're wearing. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm happy to wear one of these. I'm going to keep one of them and send one of them back. I haven't decided quite which one. I'm happy to wear one of them. I appreciate the quality of the work here, and they do look very, very good. I think the PT5000 is the one that's the winner for me, just simply because of the way that movement is running. I think at least as well that CRONOS, you know, in choosing their brand name, they chose a good name, something slightly related to time, right? Not sure what's with this brand name. I don't know where they get their ideas from, or whether they actually care. I mean, what's this one? Parsnip? On another note, is it me, or perhaps are we being led by the nose by our peers at AliExpress, or are they just laughing all the way to the bank? You've got so many brands offering exactly the same product. Heimdall, Tandorio, Steel Dive, Ardennais, San Martin, Non-Brodevere, all coming out of the same shops, and all that's different is that they've got a different brand name on the dial. And then maybe some of them have spent a little bit more money on a bracelet than others. I don't get it. I also get the feeling that AliExpress watches that get reviewed are predominantly sold to the non-Chinese market. Most of the Chinese students in the city where I live seem to wear Casios and Daniel Wellingtons. In addition, if you look at the most sold watches on AliExpress, then the watches look like this. Now, that's of course assuming that all of those those sales are genuine, but those watches are fugly, right? There isn't a San Martin or a CRONOS in sight. The first brand on here that you might see on a YouTube review is actually on page 3 of the top sales, and it's a Liege. Then if you go to automatics only, the first one up, again way down on the pages, is Pagani, and then there's another one here with Forcening Ning 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 Ning. I don't know what that means. I've also yet to see a review written in Chinese, or with like the little Chinese flag next to the review, on any watch. That could mean that the Chinese customers don't leave reviews, or alternatively AliExpress sets the algorithm to hide them from you know, non-Chinese viewers. On this one, the first review where someone actually wrote something, I found, so on one of the watches that I looked at here, there was hundreds of reviews saying, yeah, it's amazing. And then some, but very few comments. And then this one guy, some poor soul in Angola, still waiting for his watch. So yeah, who knows what's going on really with all the AliExpress reviews. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Just while I'm questioning all things AliExpress, I have to raise one other thing which is kind of irking me a little bit. There seems to be a glut of YouTube reviewers showing nothing but pictures of a website and saying these are the best of the 11/11 sale or the best of the Black Friday sale, and here's a link. Guys, please don't fall for the shopping channel reviews. Do more research and make your own choices. Never has the phrase caveat emptor been more needed, methinks. You want an example of what I'm talking about? Check out Mr. E's watch reviews of AliExpress watches. He pays with his own money. He's got a whole bunch, and not only that, he wears the crap out of them. I mean, he wears them in his workshop, beats the crap out of them. So you are going to see how the watches actually hold up in real life and real wear. And again, a radical contrast to somebody just showing you a screenshot of their website, of a website, going, "Yeah, this is amazing, man. You got to buy it. Here's a shopping link." There ain't nothing wrong with making a buck out of life, and I'm not having a go at that. I just think, you know, if you're going to review a product, at least get it in hand, show it to people so that they can see for themselves what you can't see on the website, which is just you know, some nice photos of the watches or whatever other product it is. Now, of course, these are my horological principles. If you don't like them, I have others. I might be sounding a little cynical here, but I did buy these with my own money as I wanted to see them in hand to be able to form an opinion, and as I say, then show other people who might be interested in buying these things what you're actually getting. Hopefully I've covered everything with these ones here. As I say, I honestly thought I was going to gravitate towards the no date because I like the symmetrical, cleaner dial. But there's something inexplicable, and I just don't know what it is. But the Cyclops version feels better. It feels heavier. It looks cleaner. It looks smoother. The colours seem better. I mean, Jesus, I don't get it. The green seems nicer on the bezel. I really don't get it. Exactly the same watch, but apparently they've just changed the movement and the sapphire up top. That should be the only differences, but they do feel like completely different watches. Yeah, I'm not losing the plot here, guys. As I said before, the meds are working. Yeah. I'll need to have a rethink about the bracelet on this one and see what solution there might be. Conscious of the fact that this has been an extremely long review. There's two watches. Hopefully I've given you a good balanced opinion. Please do drop your thoughts down below. Always keen to hear contrary perspectives because those can then help better inform my own opinion. Thanks as always for your time and your view, and catch you all in the next vid. Cheers, guys.